It's just been such a valuable role for me, and I think to know that Michael is pouring into people's lives like me all over the valley, the impact that he's having has got to be just amazing, because I feel he's made such a big difference in my life. Well, my name is Redel. I'm on staff with the Navigators. I'm at Arizona State University as the campus director. It's my 15th year on staff. First 6 years were training and development, and then the last 9 years I've been the director at ASU. I became a Christian when I was in college at U of A through the Baptist ministry. And right before I graduated, I felt called to do ministry, and I was planning on being a youth pastor and going to seminary. Yeah, but I got an opportunity to go to a Navs event, and I got to hear about their emphasis on discipleship, and that really captured my heart, and so that's why I joined Navigators. So after graduating from U of A, they immediately sent me to ASU to work in ministry, and in my first year up here at ASU, I met Michael Parker at church, and it was in the Greet Your Neighbor time, and he said, "Hey, what do you do?" And I said, "I do Navigators." And he said, he knows Navigators. And he said, "So who disciples you?" And I said, "Nobody." And he said, "Well, why don't we meet up this week and get to know each other?" And I was really excited to do that, so we did. So Michael's discipleship has impacted me in my personal life, my ministry life, and my family life. Personally, I think I'm a very competitive person, and becoming a Christian in college, I saw all of the life change and all of the things to do as kind of a competition, or not a competition, but just things that I can do, and I can do them well, and I saw that I can do them better than others. And so to have Michael be a voice of reason, just kind of challenging me and saying, "Hey, why are you doing some of these spiritual disciplines? You know, why do you pray as much as you do? Or why do you memorize scripture? Why do you read the Bible through every year?" And my answer, of course, I would give him some rote Bible verse that tells why man doesn't live on bread alone, but on every word comes from the mouth of God. But he was always challenging me and pushing me to encounter Christ and experience the goodness of knowing Christ, and that these disciplines are serving that greater end. They're not an end in themselves. In my family, it's helped tremendously in how I understand my relationship with my wife, our goal in raising kids. I assumed that raising kids would be black and white, and it's very complicated, and it requires a lot of grace. It requires a lot of flexibility and patience, and these are not things I was very naturally good at. So Michael was always helpful to give me a different perspective on how to live in a more understanding and patient way with my wife, and to be more gentle with my 3 daughters that I'm trying to raise. In my ministry, he's helped me in a huge way as I approach leadership and having a staff team and working through conflict and helping people uncover some of their issues and how to free them up to be more effective in ministry themselves. So usually when I have a conflict on the team or a problem, it causes a lot of anxiety for me, and I'll go and I'll chat with Michael about it, and he just helps me unpack everything and see it's not the end of the world. He'll help me see the other people's perspective and help me think through what's best for them and separate my own agenda from actually serving the team, which is what I'm supposed to be doing, not serving myself. So, yeah. Anyone, I think, who's considering discipleship or isn't really interested in discipleship, I think everyone should have somebody that's pouring into them, and we should all be pouring into somebody else as well. And I think there is a poverty of discipleship out there. I think that when Jesus said the harvest is plentiful but the laborers are few, a lot of that is within the church. Like, we need to be pouring into each other. And so I think especially for men, we resist that depth in relationship And I would just encourage anybody, like, begin to let those walls down and let other men in. Let guys get to know you and speak into your life. That's been huge for me, and I think that was God's design in community. So Michael takes a coaching approach where you do a very small amount of the talking and you ask good questions. And then as you're answering those questions and you do a lot of the talking, a lot of times you sort out a lot of the issues yourself. And so I would find that when we would meet, I would just talk and talk. And sometimes I just felt like, man, thanks, that was so helpful. And he'd say, I didn't say anything. But he would usually, by the end, he would usually have an opportunity to share some insight, some wisdom, some advice, and a challenge for me. And I think I was always ready for it because he had developed that trust as I'm sharing with him. And so now when I'm meeting with guys, I'm always thinking, what questions can I be asking to draw these guys out? And how can I actually help them understand their situation better, help them sort these things out? And as I've done that, I've just seen that I have a lot better opportunity to speak into their lives once I've established that trust. So that's been a big impact on the way I do discipleship.